Okay, so a former CIA officer just dropped an absolute bombshell. It's a claim so explosive it could totally change the game in the shadow war happening in South Asia. She's alleging that India is using the Afghan Taliban as its own secret hit squad inside Pakistan. We're going to break down this incredible allegation and, what it could mean for the entire region. So, for months now, there's been this mystery haunting Pakistan's terror networks. One after another, key anti-India figures have been systematically taken out. We're talking Khalistani separatists, leaders of groups like Jaish-e-Mohammed, gone. The media started calling the killers the unknown. And now, someone is stepping forward, claiming they know exactly who they are. And that someone is Sarah Adams, a former CIA targeting officer. Now, she's not just anyone. She spent years on the ground in the Afghanistan-Pakistan region, and she's come forward with a story that, if it's true, wow. It doesn't just bend the rules of engagement, it throws the entire playbook out the window.
All right, so let's get right into it. The claim Adams is making, it's a wild one. It connects three players you would never expect to see on the same side, and it's creating a narrative that is absolutely shaking up intelligence circles.
So what is she actually saying? Get this. The core of her claim is that India is funding and directing the Afghan Taliban. They're supposedly providing a kill list of high-value terrorists and ordering the Taliban to go into Pakistan and eliminate them. Essentially, she's saying India has turned a former enemy into its own deniable, off-the-books assassination team.
Now, we have to pump the brakes here for a second because this is really important. This entire incredible story is coming from one person, a single individual. There is zero public evidence right now to back any of this up. So our job here isn't to say if it's true or not. We're just here to break down what's being claimed.
Okay, so with that big grain of salt firmly in hand, let's look at the mechanics she alleges. Because this isn't just some vague theory. Adams lays out a surprisingly detailed chain of command for how this whole thing supposedly works.
So the big question is, how could India possibly get the Taliban to do its bidding?
Well, Adams points to two main things: money and security. First up, cash. With international funds frozen, the Taliban is desperate for foreign currency, which she claims India is supplying. Second, and this is the big one, security. She alleges India is providing personal protection for the Taliban's supreme leader himself. The deal is simple. India provides the money, the security, and the targets. The Taliban provides the assassins. And this is where it gets really specific. She's not just making general claims, she's naming names. She alleges that the top guy, the Taliban's supreme leader, Mullah Akhundzada, is being kept safe by Indian intelligence at a secret location called Geko Base. The money? That's supposedly funneled through Mullah Yaqoob, the son of the Taliban's founder, and his brother, Dawood, is described as a direct Indian asset. I mean, these are some seriously detailed accusations. She even puts a price tag on it, a single payment of $10 million. That's the amount she claims was moved through Mullah Yaqoob, straight to the Supreme Leader's secret base. So, how does a target list from Delhi turn into a dead terrorist in Karachi? Adams alleges Indian intelligence provides a complete package: real name, alias, photo, address, the works. That package is then handed to the Taliban, who activate their huge network of Pashtun sympathizers inside Pakistan's cities. They use their local know-how to hunt down and eliminate the target. It's a textbook model of plausible deniability. I mean, this whole thing sounds like it's ripped straight from a spy novel, right? But now we have to ask the most important question of all. Could any of this actually be true? Because when you really start to scrutinize the claim, some major holes start to appear. And this slide right here really gets to the heart of the problem. On one hand, you have Adams's claim that India is controlling the Taliban. But on the other hand, well, you have all of modern history. I mean, think about it. This is a group that has never been controlled by anyone. They fought off the Soviets, they outlasted the United States in a 20-year war. The idea that this fiercely independent group would suddenly become a hired gun for India, well, it strikes a lot of experts as just deeply, deeply unlikely. And beyond that, you just have to ask, why? What would India really gain from a partnership that is so risky, so expensive, and so unpredictable? I mean, just think about the potential for it to blow up in their face, for the operation to be exposed, for the Taliban to just turn on them. Why would a rising power entangle itself with a group like the Taliban? The strategic logic is, to put it mildly, not exactly clear.
So this brings us to our final and maybe our most important section. Let's just set aside the question of whether this is really happening for a moment and ask a more provocative one. What if it were justified?
So let's do a little thought experiment. Let's assume, just for the sake of argument, that these claims are 100% true. Imagine you're a country frustrated for decades by a neighbor that shelters terrorists who attack your citizens. You've tried official channels, they've failed, and you finally decide it's time to take matters into your own hands. And let's look at the context here. The United States unilaterally went into Pakistan to get Osama bin Laden. For years, India has handed over detailed evidence on terrorists operating freely on Pakistani soil, only to see nothing happen. So the argument becomes, when diplomacy fails and justice is denied, what's a nation left to do? And that leaves us with this final, really provocative question. It takes the specific countries out of the equation and asks the universal one about statecraft and security. When a nation feels that justice is consistently being denied and its people remain targets, does that old principle of an eye for an eye become a justified or maybe even a necessary policy? It's a complex ethical question, and there's definitely no easy answer.